But I want to shed light on an international issue right now, not just now, but this has been happening for decades, for the best part of a century or more. And that's the issue of what's occurring and taking place in Palestine as we speak. The land of Al-Quds Sharif, Jerusalem, the land of the Anbiya wal Rusul, the land where Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and where the third holiest masjid is. After Makkah Mukarramah Masjidul Haram, Medina Munawwara Masjidul Nabawi, the third holiest masjid in Islam is Masjidul Aqsa, situated in Jerusalem, Palestine, and the situation that is taking place there now. We as Muslims really need to wake up at this moment in time. I am not a politician. I don't have no political agenda. But by Allah, it's important that our community is educated about the Palestinian cause. Wallahi al-Azim, if you knew about the Palestinian cause, how just this cause is, how righteous this cause is, my brothers, like the Prophet ﷺ said, you would go crawling to Masjid al-Aqsa. You would crawl to Masjid al-Aqsa. If you could help those people, you would help them by giving them the olive oil for Masjid al-Aqsa, so that the people in Al-Aqsa could light their candles. You would support them, you would send everything to help the cause of the Muslims who are suffering right now in Jerusalem, suffering right now in Palestine. So sad to see how the Ummah is asleep. We see what happens in Palestine the last few nights, on the 25th night of Ramadan Kareem. Whilst my Shaykh and my teacher, my guide, Sheikh Yusuf Abu Snaina, the Imam of Masjid al-Aqsa, a man who I've known for over 15 years. I have an image, a picture with him when I was young, 16-year-old. I had a little beard and a turban on, and I'm sat with a giant of our time, Sheikh Yusuf Abu Snaina, a man who inspires me, a man who I consider as one of the most learned men on this earth, a walking commentary and encyclopedia of the Quran, a man who I've had the honor and privilege of serving whilst he's been here in the UK, during my time in London as an Imam and Manchester, during my time as a student in Jamia Al-Karam. And I pray and I always ask Sheikh Yusuf, I said to Qibla Sheikh Yusuf that, Sheikh, if you can come to the UK, please come. Please come to the UK. Please come to the UK. The people want to listen to you. The people want to seek benefit from you. They want to hear your story. A man who's born and raised in Jerusalem, who studied in Jerusalem, studied in Medina Munawwara, who's been the Imam for 30 years. 30 years he has been the Imam of Masjid al-Aqsa, the most senior Imam in Al-Quds Sharif right now. And whilst he was leading Salatul Taraweeh, we seen that the Israeli soldiers were firing gas grenades, they were firing plastic bullets, rubber bullets, at whom? Innocent people. Why? Because they were praying Salah in Masjid al-Aqsa. What did these Muslims do to them that these Israeli Zionists had to go and do this to them? And I want to make something clear, that there is a clear difference between Judaism and Zionism. Though Zionism falls within Judaism, there are Jews in this world who believe that this territory in Palestine is not their territory. This land does not belong to the Jew. The Jewish people have no right and ownership of this land. Study the history of how the Jewish people were given the state. Remember in the Quran, Allah Almighty said to Bani Israel, you've transgressed so much that you will never have a home on this earth. The Jewish nation will jump from village to village, city to city. They will never have a home on this earth. The true Orthodox Jewish man or woman will believe in this principle of the Quran and the Torah. But within Judaism we find this extreme, zealous Zionists who have an agenda to take over Masjid al-Aqsa in anticipation of the Antichrist Dajjal. This is the objective, this is the agenda. And it's important for us to understand, how did we lose Palestine? When did we gain Palestine? Palestine has always been disputed territory. It has been in the rule of the Greeks, the Romans, the different different dynasties have taken over this land time and time again. But during the caliphate of the great Umar bin al-Khattab radiallahu anh, this was the first time when the Muslims entered into Palestine. When he did the takbir on the mountain of takbir, when he seen the Masjid al-Aqsa. And he entered. And Muslims, Jews and Christians coexisted peacefully in this land for the best part of 1,000 years at least. There were no issues, there was no politics. Christians worshipped in their churches, Jews worshipped in their synagogues, and Muslims worshipped in Masjid al-Aqsa and the masajid of the great land of Palestine. But we see, after 400 years rule of the Ottoman Empire over Palestine, when the Ottoman Empire collapsed after the World War I, we see that the British took over this land. When they took over this land, they made a treaty called the Balfour Treaty, in which they said, now the Jewish people, we will promise them the state. We will give them a state. We will give them a place to live. Of all the places in the world, they thought of to cause disruption within Islam, to divide the Muslim Ummah. They've allowed, the British government at that time allowed that the Jewish people can settle in Jerusalem, settle in Palestine. Over the years, bit by bit, they have occupied and taken over land, territory. Illegally taking over territory. 135 countries on the UN accept and acknowledge that this land is the Palestinians' land. But then you have world powers like the United States of America, like the United Kingdom, who do not recognize Palestine as the legal state. They recognize Israel as the legal state. And this is the reality. From that moment in 1918 onwards, where the Jews were allowed to settle, remember, the Jewish people, they have been persecuted throughout time. It's not today. The number of Jewish people in this world, you would be surprised how many their population is compared to the Muslim Ummah. Yet we cannot tell them that this is not your land, you need to move from here. This is the land of the Muslims. This is the Muslims own this land. And we see in 1947 the UN passed a law declaring a two-state, that Palestinians will have a state and the Israelis. And then we seen in 1967 Jerusalem was taken over. There was a 6-day war. Egypt tried their best. Jordan tried their best. Syria tried their best. The more they had wars with the Israelis, with the Jewish armies at that time, the more territory and land was being lost at that time. Muslims, it's not even a case of Muslims. My brothers, those who believe in justice and fairness, Muslim or non-Muslim, will say that this is one of the greatest injustices that have been taking place in the last 100 years. One of the greatest injustices, zulm that has been done on the Muslim Ummah, especially the Palestinian people. I have a home. I own this home. My great-great-grandfather lived in this home. And all of a sudden, someone comes from outside and says, get out of here. You don't own this no more. This is my house now. I'm taking over. I'm going to fight you. I'm going to bomb you. I'm going to kill you if it takes that my people will take over and settle into your house. Would you allow someone to walk into your house and tell you, this ain't your house, brother? You can look on the land registry, the deeds. They've taken over this land. And then what's happened? 7 million people, 7 million Muslims have been displaced. They've had to flee to Jordan, to America, political asylum. They've got no home to live in. Illegal settlements have been made in that land, taking over the houses. Tell me, is this allowed or not allowed? Would you allow someone to take your house? Never. How can we sit here and say that this is an apartheid state? People, the world is waking up eventually. Non-Muslims are realizing that this is an apartheid state. This is a state that wants to ethnically cleanse Muslims and Palestinians from the land that they own, that they have occupied for over 100 years. This is what's happening there. And we see every so often, every other Ramadan, a skirmish, a battle, a problem, a provoked attack will take place against the Muslims. And when this provoked attack takes place on the Muslims, shameful to an extent that that's when we wake up and realize We think, oh, how do I help the Palestinians? We go and protest at Downing Street. We go and protest. It's good to protest. But I'll tell you the best thing you can do, Sheikh Yusuf will tell you this, Sheikh Saleh and all my friends in Palestine will tell you, the best thing you can do for the Palestinian people is have the courage, book your ticket, and go and see the state that they're living in. Allah has honored me in this case. 9 times I visited Palestine. 9 times. Every time I've gone, Shoaib is sat here, is a friend of mine. He went Palestine with me. They will detain us. They will stop us from entering. But we will remain patient. 8-9 hours we'll wait at the airport. They'll ask me who my dad is, who my granddad is, what is Al-Hikam, what Silsila Naqshbandi. They know everything about me. Every single thing. And they will detain and they will stop and say, oh, you can't go for... But no, every single time they've allowed me to enter. They just want to wind me up, so I react and say, you know what, forget this. But you know what the ulama have written in the books? That nobody ever entered the blessed land. Alladhi barakna hawlahu. We've blessed everything around it. Wallahi al-azim, when you walk into Al-Aqsa, it's like paradise. There is this feeling, the olive trees, the water, the air. You can feel the presence of the angels in this masjid. The people are so soft, so nice, so kind. They have nothing to their name. Yet they give you everything. They will give your heart if you're in problems, struggling. My brother, come, we will help you, we will. The youth of Al-Quds al-Sharif, the youth of Al-Aqsa, the Shabab of Al-Aqsa, these are lions, these are men who are living in the real struggle. They're in the jungle, fending for themselves. We are living it easy here in the streets of Bradford. We are living it easy in the streets of the United Kingdom. We have been given privileges and rights. We own the houses that we've bought. We own. In reality, we don't own anything. But we own it on paper. We've got this and this. And we can't sacrifice a weekend. We can't sacrifice a week to book our ticket and say, right, I'm going to Masjid al-Aqsa. I want to read one salah there because it's equal to 500 salah. There's no other masjid that gives you this except the Haramain Sharifain. We all go to Mecca. We all go to Medina Munawwara. We go to the masajid there and we pray there. Yes, they're great. There's no denying they're the harams. Why have we forgotten Al-Aqsa? Why have we forgotten the Palestinian struggle? Why have we forgotten this as an ummah? Isn't the ummah one body? Have we neglected and forgotten this hadith? That if one part of the body feels pain, the entire body feels pain. Have we forgotten they're our brothers that are in pain, those in Kashmir, those in Burma? We must feel the pain of the Muslim ummah. We must feel this pain. And we must do our best. If we can't go, we send money. But we must never forget this cause. We should not be reactionary Muslims and react when something happens. No. We must always keep the Palestinian cause, the Kashmiri cause in our minds. It's important, necessary. And we know what we really need to do. We can go and knock on the door of Mr. Boris Johnson, 10 Downing Street, and we can knock on the American embassy. We can do all that. You know who you need to knock on first? First, you need to knock on the Muslim Ummah's doors. You need to knock on the doors of the Muslim states in the world that exist. Where are the Muslim leaders gone? Tweeting and writing about it is not enough. Right now, we need the 52 or so Muslim nations in the world to unite, to come together. We fear boycott from the West. Yet Allah has given the Muslim Ummah, the Muslim nations, so much power. Indonesia, Malaysia, Turkey, Pakistan. So many Muslim countries have so much power on them. But we fear, because why? We become a minority. Minority in what aspect? That we've not ruled, we've been divided and ruled. Divided and ruled. That's why it's necessary that we write to our Muslims, which Muslim MP tweeted or mentioned anything about what happened. Respect to that non-Muslim MP who raised his voice in honor of the people who are suffering in Al-Aqsa. Why? It's not about the people there. It's the injustice that's taking place. It's zulm. Where there's zulm, you must speak out against it. Where there's wrong, you must stop it. And this is a wrong that's happening right in front of our eyes. But certain media outlets will not show you this. They will brand this as clashes between the Israeli soldiers and Muslims. They will word this in a way to make you feel and think. We're brainwashed by this media. We don't understand. Go there and see. See for yourself the struggle that the Palestinians in Jerusalem. 1 kilo of chicken, 15 to 20 pounds. How much is a kilo here? 6 pounds, 5 pounds? Double, triple the price. They may not be killed on the streets, But I tell you, financially they will rinse them so dry that they won't financially be able to survive living there. They'll have no option but to sell their homes and move out. And then they will take over. This is why, my brothers and sisters, wake up and study this cause. Become activists. The best thing, if you don't want to, this is not a political speech. This is just a speech to wake us up. A speech for us to understand history of Al-Quds al-Sharif. History of this holy, blessed land that we also feel passionately about. Every Muslim feels passionately about. What's happening in Gaza? How many Muslims? The largest concentration camp in the world. Over 1 million Muslims in that one area can't go out, can't come in. Limited water, limited resources. The value and the economy, nothing. Where's the Egyptian people? Where's the Jordanians? This is why we say they've sold out. What are they doing to benefit this cause? To sign treaties? The UAE signs a treaty with Israel that now we're good friends again. How can this be? This is defeating principles. You might say we're looking at it from a long-winded perspective. The plan is that if we get good with them, then they'll give and take. No. Allah said in the Quran, the believer cannot be friends with those who don't believe. Their mission and agenda and objective is not your mission and agenda and objective. This is why, my brothers and sisters, wake up. Wake up and wake the ummah up. The least you can do is to make niyyah that you're going to go to Al-Quds al-Sharif. You're going to read your salah in Masjid al-Aqsa. You're going to sit with the people. You're going to drink the coffee there. You're going to talk to them. You're going to help them. You're going to assist them. You're going to make friends with them. And this is the least we can do. Along with this, we can make dua for them. We can send our zakat to them. We can send our sadaqat to them. 9 times I've been, and wallahi al-azim, I will not stop going. I will never stop going to Al-Quds al-Sharif. I get a joy and a buzz when I get on that plane and I'm ready to go to Al-Quds al-Sharif. And Sheikh Saleh is standing there and greeting us and welcoming us. And we go and when we walk into Al-Masjid al-Aqsa and we see the great Sheikh Abdul Karim al-Afghani and Sheikh Yusuf Abu Snayn and the Mashayikh and Ulama, and the way they are and how positive, the positive, Inna Nasrullah Qareeb, the help of Allah Almighty is near, the fath, the opening is near, they're positive. They've not given up hope. Why are we giving up hope? We must continue to support this cause. My brothers and sisters, we need to wake up and realize, people who object and question, what do? We know what we do for the Palestinian cause. And we will continue to do this, but we want to encourage others to join us in this so that we can be amongst those who Allah Almighty has honored to visit, honored to help and assist this noble cause, this noble struggle that our brothers and sisters are going through.